Yes guys, welcome from me, Championship Manager 0102, little treat for you, my ugly mutt right there. Okay, so the last part, which was 61, the date was December of season 63. You can see right in the corner there, October season 65. Absolute monster sessions over the weekend and a restricted session yesterday. More about that in a moment. So, season 63 to 64. It was ridiculous. It really was. Just cast your mind back now then. Towards the end of season 62, Matt took the Dortmund job and it was the end of my first full season at Bayern Munich. We won the league at Bayern Munich and we won the Champions League at Bayern Munich and we lost the cup final to Werder Bremen. The following season, I said on the previous video, go back to it, Werder Bremen, don't exclude them, they will be dangerous, and they fucking were, because they won the league, the cup, the Champions League, they did the treble, and that must be one of the first times that AI have dominated me and Matt so much. So Werder Bremen, credit where it's due to Werder Bremen, they did a cracking job, and they claimed the title, they did it all. Matt finished second, I finished third. Last season, Matt clinched the title, and firstly, we've all, got to give all the credit in the world to Matt. By this time, he's taken 16 players, 2 of which would have been pre-arranged, so 7 of his choice in this season, and another 7 here, and he did a remarkable job. Last season was just fucking horrendous for me. The start of the season was horrendous, and I was losing points left, right, and centre. Matt had his blip of form, but luckily for Matt, his blip of form came at the end of the season when he'd already, signed up the title pretty much. But let's just go to Matt. Matt's season did fall apart, and you'll see where it fell apart right here. Over here, I mean, he suffered 3 defeats in a row and a draw, and of course, this was a killer for Matt. And I'm going to show you, because you've probably worked it out here, that he didn't advance in the Champions League last season. The first leg finished like that. So, I feel a little bit embarrassed on that. The second leg finished that. So, we advanced to the final. And Matt, like I said, had already done enough, and he got knocked out of the cup very early on. The League Cup he won, actually. But in terms of the German Cup, he was out to Freiburg early on. So for me, last season, well, it was a great recovery. It was a great recovery because we ended up beating Werder Bremen in the final, believe it or not. And Werder Bremen finished 5th last season, so had they have won, there would have been 5 entries into the Champions League this season. But it was academic, we did it, and it recovered that season, particularly with winning the German Cup in the final against Leverkusen, although probably a little bit unjust. And I can't stress enough just how bad of a season I had in respect of it. And it's not as if I've got a shit squad. And I make the mistake, I do this all the time, you either rage quit or you change formation. And that is not the best thing. Morale is just so shit. So, I want to show you something, right? Let me show you a player. Gonzalez. Looks a beast, don't he? So, at the very start of the session, well, yesterday, I think it was the day before, I'd managed to get a lot of... Fucking hell's a cat meowing at? I did a lot of contract renewals, and this guy took a new contract, right? And then it came up, Gonzalez feels that you need to invest in more players. What do you do when a player says your team needs to invest, which is complete bullshit? Anyway, I criticised the player, and the chairman backed it, the fans backed it. Job done. Instantly, this cunt goes AWOL, and this was roughly not long after his contract. It weren't long after that, about the late January, he stayed AWOL until April. And I was fining him 2 weeks' wages every week. I even had a note on it. Now, normally I don't do that, but when you fine a player or warn a player, it tends to bring up, don't it? They've accepted it, or they're shocked, or they feel it's unfair. Nothing was coming up, and he was AWOL. I didn't really want to sell him. If it was a solo game, I'd have fucked him off. But look at what a quality player he is. So, he's still being treated for depression. Fuck him, is what I say. So this season has started exactly like last season for me. As you can see, this is why we cut the session short yesterday, because I've got to a stage where I was really pissed off. I was really, really pissed off. And credit where it's due to Matt here. He's done 7 more signings, and he started off brutal. Let's have a look at Matt's 7 signings. Per Lund won't be happy with how he started. 650. Martin Georgiev looks solid. Not 718. I think Matt would have expected and hoped for more than that. Zito. I didn't realise Matt was planning on making him number 1. Sure, Matt said he looked at making him number 2, but nevertheless, 733. Usil. Now, Matt told me today he's playing Usil a little bit deeper, and he's doing a good job. Solid striker there. Douglas McGinley. Now, Matt had to buy him because he beat me to him. So that's our rules. If you beat one another, you can't pull out of it. Because what we do is, with Germany, you can start making deals after mid-January, knowing they're going to go through in July, and you can pull out of deals. But unless you beat one of each other to it, so he had to. And I think he'll realise that McGinley probably hasn't. He hasn't set the world alight. Carlos Zambrano. Now, who does that look like a regen of? Because I said this, I don't think Matt heard of this player. Do we all remember on the ODB, Alex Aguinaga? I think that's him. I could be wrong, because I don't know his attributes, but it's the only fucking Ecuadorian I could remotely think of. And finally, Vincenzo Tacconi looks absolutely solid. So, Matt is off from. Let's have a look at Matt's 7 signings last campaign then. Sean Gibson. He started this campaign off relatively good. Christophe Duchette. Solid. Phil Bass. It's so hard to get English players to be consistent. Batella. Another striker. Don't think he's going to be using him. Campos. Campos looks solid at right back. Richard Koeman. See, 7 games as well in the... How has he had 7 league games this season? Petkov, that is Stoichkov regen. He looks fucking solid. Let me just... Has he had 30? He hasn't had 13 games. Is it 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11... Oh, yeah, he has had 13 games. So Matt retained the League Cup this season. Werder Bremen knocked me out. See what I mean? My season started in the worst possible way with losing the League Cup. But then for me, we did win the Super Cup. We did win the Super Cup. So, let's take a look at my signings this season. Now, there's a little bit of a giveaway there, isn't there? Alright, a little bit of breaking news for you. More about that in a moment. Let's have a look at my 7 signings last season. Brian Wilson looks a beast. Actually had a really good season towards the back end especially. Looks really solid. Rob Schmidt. His defence has just been absolutely shocking for me. Fucking awful. Frustrating the fucking shit out of me. He's getting better and better. We all know who that is. Ryan Giggs. Well, I believe it's Ryan Giggs. I'm certain it's Ryan Giggs. Rui Brewer looks pretty decent. Vanden Billy. Awful defence. Gilardi was solid for me last season. No, not as solid as I thought. 762. And finally, Gary Ward. Amazing striker. A little bit conscious about that injury prone. And then this season, our 7 signings. Benny Larsson from Spurs. Henny Schmitz. I beat Matt to him, so again, still had to go through. But the prick got injured for a couple of months with a damaged kneecap. Elias Jr. Not sure who that is. Could be Roberto Carlos, or is he attacking midfielder? I can't remember, but he started off really well for me. Jakobsen, another right back. Right back is definitely my strongest position. Sebastian Bruno, going to come to him in a minute. Gilberto de Souza, I'm pretty sure that is Rivaldo. And Luis Felipe de Silva Santos, your typical Brazilian name. And Sebastian Bruno. Now, Sebastian Bruno looks an absolute fucking monster. And it was a real punt in trying to get him because look how shit he's done. But he just looks so good, don't he? His first game, he got me a 4. I was like, you fucking knobhead. So yeah, he feels he's been treating him fairly. He actually said he feels he's been purchased under false pretenses. Fuck him, is what I say. Fuck him. And the horse he rode in on. So, yeah, so that's our start to the season. We've both started relatively good in the Champions League. Matt's doing okay. Champions League is going to be a big objective for Matt this season. I think there's no doubt about that. And I think he'll want the German Cup as well. Matt, I believe, will be angling for the treble this season. Don't even go there. That was my last game. I played 5 at the back. I matched the AI at their own formation. It's just, I can't string fuck all together. I really cannot string nothing together at all at the minute. It's frustrating the absolute shit out of me. So look at my morale. My morale is obviously a key thing within CM, and just look at it. What can I do? Somebody asked me the question on the previous part about everybody's unhappy. What can I do? Everybody's unhappy. You know, and I can't do jack shit about it. One player, superb. I'm getting to the end of the tether. I don't want to say too early about I'm going to fucking leave Bayern Munich, but it's just really frustrating the hell out of me. It really is. But do you know what? I think we can get through it. I really do. Last season, coming away with the Champions League was a great recovery, I felt. So, the question is, what formation? I'm happy to, take anyone's suggestions on board. It's got to be minimum 3 at the back. It's got to be minimum 2 wide players, and it cannot be whip-bobbed. If you've got any ideas, let me know. Okay, now for the breaking news. Myself and Matt, you've already worked half of this out. Me and Matt have gone into the international scene. It's a World Cup year. The end of the season, it will be the World Cup of 2166. Now, it's a special year, and there is a reason behind that. So we have taken the 2 countries that you just can't argue with, are the most competitive, the rivalry. Of course, who am I? Who's Matt? I am Scotland. So I took Scotland, and I saw the job come up, and I thought, interesting, because on my 3-man game, I would love to be Scotland or Wales, and I can't, because it was to party, it was all fucked up before the days of Nick's Patcher, so you can't do it. So, Scotland came up, and then what else came up for Matt? What else came up for Matt? Of course, Matt is England. Now, this was bizarre, right, because I was offered England without even applying. And, no, sorry, tell a lie. Matt was offered England without applying and rejected it. I then saw Scotland and I said, you know what, I fancy this. Matt goes, yeah, okay, it's a new chapter. For me, it will only be for the World Cup. So we both agreed, we'd both apply for both jobs, right? I got offered Scotland, I accepted. And then, moments later, a day or so later, I got offered England. Now, this was bizarre. Do you remember we had this little flaw in the game where Salamanca offered me a role? And on the same bit of news, where I hadn't even accepted or declined, they'd appointed a new manager, Salamanca. And the same thing happened with England, right? So England, after I took the Scotland job, then offered me the role. And I said to Matt, LOL, being offered England. And Matt got confused because in that window of time that I was writing and saying and looking at it and going to reject, Matt was offered the England job and accepted. So whilst I haven't even accepted the England job yet, it was above in news, right? It was in news. England appoint Matt, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I wish I put a save on it then, and then just to see what would happen, but it's too late now. And I did the same with the Salamanca thing as well. Particularly, it's bizarre, absolutely bizarre. So Matt is England manager, I am Scotland manager. We've got a World Cup year, so for me, Scotland, it isn't going to be easy for Scotland. I mean, they've got some good players, but this is our situation in the World Cup qualifying Group 3. It's in my own hands. Our last game then is at home to Sweden. Now, if we lose, we won't make it. That is a fact. A draw might give us best second place team. It possibly will. So realistically, who knows? In terms of Matt and England, so that fucking cat's whinging. We're not allowed to let our cat out yet because we've only had her for like 2 weeks or so. So we're not allowed to let her out. So she wants to go out, so she'll have to fucking wait. Oi, midnight. So fucking go to the window then. What was I going? Oh, we were going to Matt. Sorry, I apologise. I've gone all over the place there because that prick. So let's go to England then. And Matt has already confirmed his qualification. He'll be going to the World Cup. Now, this is also a special year, right? Look at the year, right? 2165. For those of you that don't know, whenever you start a game on CM, let's talk ODB. Your date of birth as a manager is the 1st of January 1966. Right, so what does that mean? We are, and of course, unlike my 3-man game, when again I didn't have access to this patch, but I do have it on here. Let's have a look. Remember, we all have a profile. Look at our age. We are going to be 100 years old. I have never seen it. I have never seen triple digits. I've seen stupid ages in the 70s and the 80s on the 3-man game. There was a lot of flaws where players didn't retire. That flaw was fixed with Nick's patches. But of course, I'm intrigued to see what's going to happen here. Is it going to go into 3 digits or what? I don't know. So we within the space of just under 3 months, me and Matt are going to be century years old and still running up and down the touchline, spurring our team on. Yeah, 100 years old. Well, Matt's going to be going up and down in his Zimmer frame, and I'm going to be going up and down in my little mobility scooter. And I think this is fucking crazy, isn't it? It is absolutely crazy. So it's a big year in respect of the World Cup, because if I don't make the World Cup, even if I make the World Cup and whatever happens in the World Cup, I will resign. You heard it here first. I will resign at the end of Scotland's contribution, wherever that finishes. If we win the World Cup, I will resign. If we get knocked out in the first round, I will resign. And so on and so on and so on. Yeah, that's my philosophy, and I do that with the 3-man game as well. So, yeah, I'm looking for advice, guys. I wouldn't normally do this, but do you know what? I don't know whether I'm overreacting here. I was so fucking angry. I've been so angry that I said to Matt, because to be fair to Matt goes, look, shall we knock it on the head for tonight? This was last night at about 9 o'clock. He goes, and I actually think it's a good idea. And it's not as if I've got a shit squad, you know. It's not as if I've got a shit squad. I even went to 2 up top. Now, let me show you something, right? When I beat Matt in the second leg of the Champions League last season, I actually went 2 up top. And I don't ever do 2 up top. And I didn't have a bad game, I guess. I mean, and I stayed with 2 up top, I think. Did I stay? I'm sure. I stayed with 2 up top. I stayed at 2 up top for the Champions League final, which I won with ease. And I went with 2 up top in the... even though I didn't really deserve it. So, you know what? I'm getting to the end of my fucking tether. I really am. I've had injuries galore. We all get our injuries. I get that. But I said to you that right back's my strongest position. Both my right backs have been injured. You know, it's so frustrating. People fueling moves all over the shop. It really fucking winds me up. In terms of my 3 strikers, my out-and-out strikers, of course, that Rangers striker, we got him. Did I get... No. I was looking to get him. Right, now check this out, right? Let's get your views on this. So, I agreed this deal with Rangers. They were going to get a player off me, and I was doing an exchange. The deal was, I think, mid-February. So, it was an exchange deal. So, I was under the illusions that this deal would go through in July, because I'd be getting a player, and I can't get a player until my window officially opens. However, remember that in mid-February, the window might be close to me, but it was open still for Scotland. So the deal was going to go through, and I thought, I can't confirm this, because the deal was going to go through. It doesn't say July the 1st. And I thought, I don't know what to do. You know, I want... Because when you get an exchange, you see, Matt can't bid for Gary Ward. He couldn't have bid for Gary Ward, because it's on an exchange. I don't know if you know that, but when you bid for a player, and you go for an exchange, or when they bid for you, shall I say, sorry, you go for an exchange, and who's interested? Gary Ward. And I went, wow. As it happens, I don't think Matt was looking at him at that point. I showed him to Matt afterwards. So if you try and bid for a player who's involved in a part X, it'll say you can't bid for him. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to have to leave it. And then I said to Matt, I'm going to go for it and we'll see what happens. He goes, yeah, okay. Then it got cancelled anyway. It didn't say why, but I think that's why, because I'm not allowed to buy players. Anyway, so I then bought him outright for £5.25 million. Matt didn't go for him, and to be fair to Matt, he did say, I'm not going to bid for him because he was your find and you just showed me to him. Now, I respect that. I'm not a big fan of it because it's a bit like I could show Matt a player on purpose so he don't find him. So, that's a tactic I do with Pep. I show Pep a player and then what I do that so then he can't then find him and compete. No, I did that back in season 20 or so. So... Interesting one there. In terms of my strikers, as I said, so we've got Ward, we've got Karmanov, the Russian, and we've got Wilson. So it's not as if we ain't got a good squad. It's really not. We are getting an Asian squad now, though, I should point out. We are getting a real Asian squad, of like 28, 29. But I say Asian squad, they should be hitting the fucking prime. I don't give a shit. They should be hitting prime. You know, and what more can I do? What more can I do? The most obvious formation I tend to play is my middleman. I've got so many machines. Not middleman, sorry. My boom, sorry. Which is that. But nothing is working. And it's down to morale. But there's a big part of me that thinks Morel's just bullshit on this game. You know, it's just absolute bullshit. Getting contracts was hard. You know, they were taking deals that they didn't even want. And I was hoping it might sort of... Oh, Hesp. So just remind yourself how good Hesp has been for me. Right? First game of the season. Gets me a 5 and a 7-game ban. Was it? Yeah. No. Got a red card there. Where was it? Look at that. First game of the... Was that first game of the season? Absolutely fucking... I was absolutely raging. I went to middleman for that as well. I went to middleman formation for that. So I was... Oh, hang on. Sorry, that's last season. So Germany, yeah, there you go, Hesp, yeah. So he got a head, he did a headbutt, and in a moment of madness, and of course got exactly what I knew he'd get, and that was he got a huge ban. Matt got one. Matt got a same ban. I think Matt was for 6 games actually. So yeah, I'll give a lot of credit to Matt where it's due. He's done a really good job at Dortmund. He don't fuck around with the formation like I do. Let's have a look at his morale as well. Look at that. You see, he's looking so much better than mine. And you know, hats off to him, definitely. Okay, so that is it, guys. That is our Game On Challenge. We are at a new chapter in respect of the international side. This is a big season for where I sit with Bayern Munich. We turn 100 years old. You know, is it time to retire? No, it's not. Don't be so fucking stupid. You know, this will be my 4th season at Bayern Munich. If Matt wins the Champions League, I think Matt would even look at the look at options maybe other countries. Who knows? I think 4 years is a good ample time. We've achieved so lot between us in Germany. And I think the Scotland challenge for me, I think it's a great challenge. I'm really happy with that. And I'm confident. I'm very... And you can see that game's coming up, actually. That's where we saved. So that game's coming up against Sweden. That game, of course, against Switzerland will be postponed if we have to have a playoff. But the bottom line is, and this is the bottom line, if we lose to Sweden, we'll miss out on a playoff altogether. So we've got to do it. We've got a win will win us the group. That is a fact. And probably Belarus will go through as best runners up anyway. So that is it, guys. That is the Game On Challenge. Hope you enjoyed it. Because I haven't been... there's a definition of not enjoying it. I think that's the wrong term to say, not enjoying it. I think it's just frustrating. I think we all go through it. You know, and I was throwing fucking tantrums yesterday. Fucking literally. So next time from me, guys, take it easy.